Hello and welcome to another update video on Bitcoin. We are going to take a look at the shorter time frame in this video. I also want to take a quick look at Bitcoin dominance with you from an Elliott Wave point of view. So I'd say we'll first take a look at the shorter time frame. As expected, there's not too much happening here on Saturday. I mean, it's pretty muted price action, pretty slow. Price is under a little bit of pressure, but that is not unexpected. Remember what we talked about in the video earlier today, that I expect the price is likely going to stay below resistance for this Saturday, possibly Sunday. So there is currently no evidence that we are trying to break above that 108,822 level. And as long as we are staying below it, I have no evidence that a more bullish scenario is unfolding. I have no evidence that we are breaking out and form a wider B wave, for example. This is the scenario we talked about in blue, yeah, in which the rally from the 5th of June low was in 3 waves. It was an A wave. This pullback is also in 3 waves. It's a B wave. It's hidden there in blue. And we could now be moving higher in a C wave. I don't know. Is this a 1-2 setup? Maybe it's ugly. Could be a diagonal, but that's possible. And I said to you, to keep this count alive, the Friday low must hold. It's very nice, simple, clear invalidation point. Is this a high probability scenario? I think it's likely, but it's not necessarily something I would find is a very high quality trade setup. But so far we're holding support for this scenario, because to keep this scenario really a plausible interpretation, the price should hold above the 78.6 retracement from that last rally, and that's at $102,500. That's the blue count. And what are the implications of the blue count? It's the same as the white count, just that the B wave that in the white count presumably topped here on the 9th of June is extending. So instead of having all of this as the B wave, and we're going down further as per our white count, which you will know about if you followed previous video updates, then this is just an extension of the B wave before we go down. So yeah, very, very similar. And yeah, not really anything super, nothing that would change really anything, okay? Now, again, that already takes us to the white count, actually, which is the preferred interpretation at the moment, in which the move up was a B wave. It's a corrective rally. And we're now moving down. And I said to you, it's possible that this decline is an ending diagonal, which means we have a wave 1, a wave 2. The third wave would also be an A, B, C. We could be stuck in the B wave here. That was sort of the plan for the weekend. I have no evidence the B wave is over at this point. Then we could come down in a C wave, which would then complete the third wave. Then we can get a 4 and a 5. Now, couldn't the third already be done here? Technically, yes. But I would argue the problem is then, if we have it like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, that's too fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, then the 5th wave, unless it's really extended, may not get to the 100% extension. So the 99,260 level has kind of been the 100% extension target. So that's kind of still the framework, still sort of the first ideal target for the C wave down. Whether I call this here a 4th wave or a B wave, it doesn't really matter. It's just, which resistance area do we use? And I use this one, these fib levels, because they give us some flexibility, some room that the price seems to need. So yeah, overall, as I said, I see this move up as a corrective rally right now. And I would need to see some evidence to conclude that something more bullish is playing out, like the blue B wave, but even that is not really bullish. It's just an extension of the correction. Now, in terms of more bullish, that would be the yellow count. Okay, that is the count that would apply if we break out directly. So there is a breakout point. It's this area here around 108,822. But the yellow count is, yes, very bullish, directly bullish, possible. We held support. This is also a support area for the yellow count. But it is not a high probability scenario. It's an ABC structure in wave 1. Then this is an ABC in wave 2. And we would move higher somehow in a corrective rally in wave 3. Then we need another wave 4 and another wave 5. It could actually take us to 130k directly. I don't have enough evidence really to favor this one either. So white count remains preferred. We could grind a little sideways or a little higher in this B wave over the weekend. The resistance parameters are unchanged. But overall, the pressure remains downward as long as the market stays here in this area below 108,822. And my view is still that probably over the weekend, we're not going to see a break above resistance. I mean, that was kind of my view, still my view. If I see anything changes, I will, of course, let you know. For now, this is just messy corrective price action. Support area is clear. It's been holding. Resistance area is clear. It's also holding. So we're just moving between support and resistance at the moment. So I think it's just a bit slow at the moment in the market, yeah. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart. I promised that. So let us select that. And Bitcoin dominance is still pushing higher. Yeah, still pushing higher. Last update was that maybe this, let's call it corrective rally, is done. But I also mentioned that evidence for a top is still very thin, very, very limited. And we need a break below this wave 1 low, which is a swing low here from May, to really conclude, no, not conclude, but that we really have some strong evidence that a top is in. So for now, still kind of grinding higher. Still no evidence for an altcoin run. Someone asked me today if I assume that the altcoins are going to rally into summer. I mean, there are setups, yeah, but obviously the altcoins could not break out successfully over the last few days. So we're back in support, back in the support area across the sector after the rally that happened into the May high. So I mean, I have no evidence for it, right? I mean, if Bitcoin rallies, then the altcoins will likely rally with Bitcoin. But it's still going up, Bitcoin dominance. And I don't see the move at the moment. So I'm very much a fan of staying in the present. This would be a possible ending diagonal we can track here. But overall, I think all I can say at the moment is there is absolutely no strong evidence that a top is in. And with the latest push higher, we would need minimally, I'd say, a break below 63.7%, followed by a break below that May low to suggest we're starting a move down. Again, we had a bit of a conversation today in our membership area about altcoins, and again, they are just. I've said it again and again. I do not expect a full-blown altcoin season. I do expect some runs. I do expect another hot phase. I wouldn't call it altcoin season. It's not what I expect. We would need Bitcoin dominance turned down. It's not happening at this point, not yet. And you have to be selective about setups, okay? Can an altcoin run without setup? Yeah, of course. But the setups give you clear parameters for risk management. So if you don't use these, then you're just gambling, essentially. So I would say, for now, the trend is up, and we always have to live in the present. So there is at the moment no evidence for an altcoin season, how many people would call it. So I remain cautious about altcoins. When I see setups, I mention them, but please remember they are experimental charts, or not experimental charts, but experimental projects, and very few of them have substance. And the ones that do, they often have very limited chart history. So that's, there is a limited history of a trend and everything, and all we can use is data, really. And if the data is limited, we have to be more flexible. So that's the update on Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure you follow us on X. You can find the link to our X profile in the description. Here you get additional updates. Different coins are tracked that are not tracked on YouTube, for example. Mindset posts. You can discuss with the community much more actively and interactive compared to YouTube, for example. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.